We're going to really hit nutrition hardcore today. I'm going to give you guys the basis of what I teach when I'm at the Olympic Training Center. So for you guys that just came in, I'm Dr. Herb. This is soon to be Dr. Ben right over here. I didn't know he was getting into this. This is Paulina. She's part of the staff and the team here at the office. She's the superhero doing lunch with us today. I have a staff of 10 in this office. We have a couple offices. We're part of a network with over 400 offices that are changing healthcare, how it's viewed and delivered. I was telling them, if you ever want a chicken soup for the soul moment, come into this office during office hours anytime. We see upwards of 200 people a day with everything under the sun. If you guys have been to chiropractic offices, this is something like you've never seen before. Brain tumors gone. You know, we saw a lady blind in both eyes get her sight back just recently. I'll show you a lady I just put in. She was down to 82 pounds with ulcerative colitis. Now she's back to full health. She's doing amazing. But a lot of this has to do with the 5 essentials that we teach. And what's the biggest reason that we do lunches like this, it's not about just a free lunch. Like, I'm a very passionate person, which you're about to see. In fact, actually, I don't want to have to fix all the necks from doing this the whole time. So maybe turn your chair a little bit and it's okay. Well, there's plenty of room. Guys, if you had to push a table or something, it's okay. This is just relaxed. This is like at your house. This is not at the office. This was set up just for you guys today. And so just relax. But I literally come to work every day, and we've been really successful over the last 21, 22 years reversing disease. We get 9 out of 10 people off all their medications. We just have a lot of fun. And I've become that place where now, and I don't say I, but it's we, there's 10 of us here, have become that place where you come in when nobody else can help. And although, you know, I love to see God do some amazing miracles, reversing phase 4 cancer and like crazy, they don't know what it is kind of things. When I walk in that room and I see this train wreck of a history, I always wish I got those people win. Way sooner than now. Make sense? And after years and years of doing this, we made a decision that, hey, we've got to do something better to go out and reach people before they end up finding us because nobody else could help. And so that's what this is about. So you guys, we're going to hit this thing through nutrition. There's 5 different essentials that we teach, and these are it right here, but we're going to really hang in on this one because it's the fastest one to make massive changes in your life on. Okay? But would you guys agree that things have changed in the last 30 years as far as health or anything else? Yeah? And so let me show you how bad things have gotten. Okay? Let me just give you an idea. So this is 1990 graph of the United States, and this is obesity and being overweight. White states don't have any data. Light blue states, less than 10%, and dark blue is up to almost 15% of the entire state is obese or overweight. Did you get that? Now watch. Just fast forward from 90 to 93. What do you see? Little bit worse. Now watch this. 94, 95, 98, 99, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What are you seeing? Yeah, first of all, Tennessee's killing us. First of all, Tennessee is absolutely racking us. But there's only one of these left, and this wasn't even on the board when we started in 1990. What you're seeing is the gross increase of just body weight over since 1990. Everybody clear with that, right? But what does it actually mean? Is it just body weight, or do you think that relies in with chronic degenerative illness as well? It's totally linked 100%. And so what you're seeing there is the loss of health in the United States like we've never seen it before. And a huge part of that is how we eat, yes or no? I can go through all the, I also have photographic memory, so if I say anything or a stat today that you guys like, just ask me and I'll give it to you. I have a Rolodex in my head non-stop, which kind of drives most people crazy, but I just spiel off a lot of stats and stuff. So if you ever want that, just let me know, okay? But how do we change that? Well, first thing you gotta do is you gotta look at this culture you're working in. Is what you're doing working out? And there's a danger in this, especially for this group, because at a younger age, if you're under the age of 30, maybe even 27, like the study we were talking about, then you could almost go, well, it's kind of working out. I mean, I'm fairly lean, I don't take any medications, or if I do, it's at a minimum. I work out, I eat fairly well, it's working out. But let me be very clear, you need to have a focus that's a little bit better than the next 6 months to a year, or even 5. If we're really looking at how things are going right now, they're not working out. And you guys, if you want to be doing something different than the other people at 35, 40, 45, where they can't go run anymore, their joints don't work and they're stuck on a bunch of medications or they're disabled, you have to start when? Right now. And so how do we do that? Well, let's just talk about the thing that I brought up. This came out April 24th. Yeah, from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Right now, people that were born between 86 and 97, right at 27, there's a 45 degrees nosedive of health. Like their health index just nosedives. It's a crash. And so what are we seeing? People are losing their health, what, earlier and earlier, not later than later, okay? Just a good wake-up call. But what we do in the office it just works, but you have to start somewhere. And I love this. Someone sent me this about 2 weeks ago. This is a lady wearing a Healthy Living Starts in the Cart, like from Whole Foods. I don't know if you've seen those shirts, but where's she at? Yeah, she's at McDonald's or wherever it is, right? Which is just crazy. Here's the problem, as I see it, because I'm going to give you lots of information today. The problem with it is information doesn't change anything. Application of information changes stuff. And this is a overly educated society, yes or no? In fact, you have so much education on nutrition right now, most of you guys won't do any of it because there's just too much of it. In fact, let's go through that. So name a diet right now. Keto, name another diet.
Whole30.
Yeah, name another diet. Paleo. I could go South Beach, North Beach. I could go Taco Bell diet. I could just all these different diets, which is a real thing, by the way. The Taco Bell diet, don't even get me started. It's stupid. But there's all these different diets to lose weight. We could do fasting, ketogenic fasting. We could do all these different diets. There's so much that, guess what? People just go, can't listen to it. It's just too much. I don't know what to do, and so I'm not going to do anything. And we've got to do something completely different. So how do we do that? We do that by teaching the 5 essentials, and I talked about that. We're really going to stick on that number 2 and that nutrition one, but I'm going to hit core chiropractic at the end. For you guys that didn't know, this is really a free lunch. I just wanted to bless you guys, give you some information. But I was telling her, even if I talked on like carpentry, someone would want to make an appointment. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that at the end to answer the questions, okay? Now, let me show you how this works. I like results. This is not a weight loss clinic, but when you see people lose weight, you go, oh, well, I guess maybe it does work. And so she's lost 70 pounds, 115 pounds, this next one, 40 pounds, next one, 80 pounds, 40, this one's 45, 59, 44, 108. I love this story. This guy actually lost all his weight before he went back home. He flew home to see his family. His sister walked right by him in the airport, didn't recognize her brother because he'd lost all that weight. I love that. Both these guys lost over 100 pounds. And again, so what am I saying? I'm saying this works. It works not just for losing weight, but getting what? Getting healthy, and that's the whole goal, right? Everybody with me? So how do we do it? Well, first thing we do is nutrition self-check. Is nutrition important to you? Yes or no? Is it? Is healthy nutrition important to you? Yes. I'm looking for the heads shaking. I mean, you did show up for lunch. I mean, maybe it is somewhat. So, okay, so it is. But watch, when I sit down with somebody and go through, and I don't necessarily do this, but do you know an easy way to figure out if nutrition is really important to you? Healthy nutrition, that is? Just look at your bank statement. So I have a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old and a 9-year-old. So the 20-year-old's off to college in A&M, and I have my 17-year-old's just graduated her junior year, going into her senior year in high school. We're sitting down, we're teaching her how to save and tithe and all the rest. We look at her bank account, right? So we sat down with her several weeks ago, and all we saw was Whataburger, 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 Whataburger. I was like, babe, this doesn't really hold true to our family values right now. So like if I looked at your bank account, what would I see? Would I see mostly fast food stuff on there, or would I see some grocery shopping on there? Or watch this, depending on where you grocery shop, I can pretty much get a clear definition of how much organic food you buy. Does that make sense? And so like I really want you to ask the question, is it really that important to you? And if it isn't, why is it not? And if you start asking the question, so why isn't it more important? Maybe because I don't think I have a problem yet. Maybe I think I'm pretty healthy with what I'm doing. What I'm doing seeming to work for me. Does that make sense? So you got to ask yourself a question, is that the truth? Or is it just working because I don't have a symptom yet? Everybody with me? Okay? Now, we've actually had electrical issues in the office. That's why everything's blinking on and off right now. But what are some of the mental barriers? Just play with me a little bit when it comes to nutrition. So what are some of the barriers about you guys changing your nutrition? Come on, let's show with me. Come on, come on. Don't like the taste. Healthy food tastes like wet cardboard or something, right? So, and again, that's one. Give me another one.
Cheaper to eat.
It's too expensive. Have you been to Whole Foods? We call it whole paycheck, right? So it's expensive. Okay, some other ones.
Takes too much time.
Takes too much time. I'm not cooking, right? Or I don't know how to cook. Anybody? Come on, somebody. All right, there it is, good. The one honest guy. I pastored a church, everybody, don't lie. So any other barriers to eating well?
Social.
That's huge. No one even brings that up. 1,000 points. I don't know what the points are for, but you got 1,000 points. So, but watch this seriously now. Guys, when you're going to go just like have a social time, you guys go out, is it to have like, a juice bar? No, we do other things, right? That one weird person probably said yes, but whoever you are. But it's social pressures, right? We go to Cheesecake Factory, we do whatever, right? It also is why you are about the average of the 5 people you hang around the most, just so you know. In fact, actually, if you'd like 6-pack abs, you better have at least 2 people in your group that has them. Not work out very well for you. All right, so there's some big stuff, right? You're out of my friend group right now. All right, so that's some of the barriers, okay? But there's 3 dangers and 4 changes. And if you look at this sheet, there are the 3 dangers and the 4 changes that you're going to make before you start taking a lot of notes. And I do want you to take notes, but these are the biggest ones I want you guys to go away with. So I actually printed them off so you guys could have it, okay? But the 3 dangers are, here you go, too much sugar, too many toxins, and not enough good fats. If you guys eat from now on with actually trying to solve those 3 problems, you guys will live a long, healthy life as it pertains to nutrition, okay? Got it? So let's talk about the 4 changes that we use, okay? And I made them kind of rhyme a little bit so you guys would be able to remember it. But clean up your carbs, fix your fats, perfect your proteins, and trash your toxins. And I'm gonna blister through these things. And like I said, even if I actually spent, and I do like 4-hour lectures and stuff like this, 2-3 weeks from now, it's hard to remember a lot of this stuff. So I'm gonna blast into some of this stuff. One thing that might hit you won't hit you, but something else will hit him, right? And so you guys will remember some different things. So whatever hits you the right way, make sure you're writing it down, because if you write it down, I also took 7 years of cognitive psychology. If you write it down, there's about a 70% chance that you'll have a better a chance of actually remembering it later on. Got it? So just hit those things that hit you. Got it? Everybody with me? So we're gonna start with a couple of myths here. First of all, everybody take a deep breath in and relax. Not that you probably do it anyway, but you never have to ever look at calories ever again the rest of your life. That's kind of cool. I like that. Let me tell you why. Because they matter not whatsoever when it comes to your health or longevity or anything else. Because if you look, 22 almonds has about the same as the Twinkie. And I put a Twinkie up there and everybody like starts to salivate. But that Twinkie sure would be good. That Twinkie's great right there. Not in this group. Like I said, eats healthier than most groups here, but I usually have that one person who's like, damn, I love Twinkies. It's good. But they have almost the same amount of calories. And let me ask you, within an hour to hour and 15 minutes, what happens to your blood sugar? It first goes what? Up. And then what's it do after that? It crashes down. In fact, actually, if you eat a Twinkie, about an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes, where's your blood sugar at? Is it back to where it was before, or is it lower? It's lower. What does low blood sugar feel like? Lethargic, tired, dragging a brain fog. Everybody with me a little bit, maybe? Just don't feel good. This is usually what most of you guys will hit about 10 in the morning, 10:30, and then 2:30 in the afternoon, which is when most of you guys will start hitting the Monsters or Rock Stars or caffeine or coffee or Diet Cokes or something like this to stimulate yourself with some caffeine, or you'll go to the crunchy granola bars or whatever else to get it up. Make sense? And we don't want to do that. But watch this. Do the almonds, what do you see? Blood sugar goes up, and then it does what? It stays that way and then slowly, gradually goes down. Why? 2 big macronutrients, fats and what? Yeah, so low carbs. Protein does have protein in it, so carbs and protein, okay? Also, not a macronutrient, but micro, if you want to throw it in there, is fiber, right? Because fiber will actually keep that blood sugar a lot higher, faster, and longer. Now, so let's just talk about sugar, okay? Now, these are stats from 2004. Do you think people eat more sugar now than 2004? Yes, so this is an old stat. Now listen, I'm also going to give some stuff away. I'm going to give a book away, a new one, not an old one like this. Ben, can you see if we can find a book? I'm going to give it away. At the very end, I'm going to ask a question, and then whoever raises their hand first, not blurts it out, but raises their hand first, I'm going to give you a book, okay? And half this book is recipes. It's one of the ways that we reverse disease and diabetes. But this is 2004. As of 2007, some of the latest ones that I could find, it's now 170 pounds per person per year. And there was no such thing as high fructose corn syrup in your diet before the 70s, 80s, which I know is probably before you guys, but it didn't even exist. and now we're getting over 70 pounds per person. You guys ever seen a 5-pound bag of sugar? Imagine I line up 34 of those and say, that's you. You got those right there. Right there. It's so, I mean, it's just, you would go, that's diabetes, for sure, right? But this is just ridiculous. And here's the thing. It's not what you think it is. It's not because you're eating Haagen-Dazs every day. It's because it's in everything. Do you know those chips are full of sugar? That tortillas are full of sugar. Ketchup is full of sugar. Like, it's everywhere. And you can't get away from it, but you can start to limit it. Got it? It's just the food science industry. And I have to go through what it is. When I have cancer patients come in, what's the first thing we take them off of completely, no matter what? Sugar. Why? If you actually look at like PET scans, you guys know what PET scans are for cancer patients? They see if there's tumors in other areas. You guys seen that? They actually put a radioactive dye in your body that the cancer takes up, and then you can see it glow when you actually get a scan. Do you know what the dye is? Sugar. All it is sugar with radioactive material attached to it. It's just sugar. So if you'd like to not feed cancer, not develop it, don't eat what? Sugar. It's also allergies, it's digestion, it's all kind of things. Is there anything worse than sugar? What's the answer? Absolutely something worse than sugar. It's what people try to get away from. And I'm gonna be like the Debbie Downer, like who invited this guy to the party, but I'm gonna show you something a lot worse than sugar, and it's these things right here. Got it? Now, also, everybody looks at the girl drinking Diet Cokes every day. What are you doing? But watch, listen. So the guy, but so most of us, and again, listen, most of us don't know this. In fact, actually, this maybe sounds terrible, and it is terrible, but I actually had somebody come in one time who actually had a Diet Coke in a bottle with a nipple on it because their little bitty toddler liked it and she thought it was healthy because it didn't have sugar in it. And again, but watch, everybody here laughs at that, but watch, it's not that far-fetched from the fact that there's people around you, maybe in this room, that still consume artificial sweeteners. And I'm also a board-certified clinical neurologist, and I can tell you the first 6 years of practice, all I saw was brain tumors, head injuries, and strokes, and stroke rehab. Very rarely do you see a lot of neurological crazy tumors and stuff that did not have somebody actually consuming artificial sweeteners. You got to get away from that big time, okay? Let me tell you why. Number one, if you eat artificial sweeteners, just plan on buying bigger and bigger clothes because you will gain weight. And you will gain weight every year that you continue to eat artificial sweeteners because it destroys your microbiome of your gut, all the bacteria. Got it? Actually, one serving, like one of those little packets, can wipe out 50% of all the bacteria in your gut. So it's like eating antibiotics, and not in a good way. Got it? And so, in fact, how do you make cows really heavy to take to slaughter? You give them grains, but a cow is supposed to eat grains or grass? Grass. So if they're not supposed to eat grains, they'll actually die. They'll ulcerate, they'll die early. So guess what you have to do? You have to put in antibiotics with the grains. If anybody has a feedlot, you know what I'm talking about. But if you actually give a cow antibiotics, guess what happens to them versus not giving the antibiotics? They actually blow up on antibiotics. And so you can actually make any organism very heavy, very fast, giving them a wiped out bacterial gut flora. Make sense? Yes? Give it to me.
Just the act of consuming Coke Zero that's at 0 calories that makes me bloated, or is it the after effects of me craving real sugar after that?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. What happens is you end up having it's a negative food. It leaches micronutrients. And so it actually makes you hungry because you're trying to replenish some other things that you've deplenished drinking it. It's a crazy one right there. So yeah, there's a lot healthy. Actually, watch this, not to show you guys how to do unhealthy things better, but they actually have some really natural, more natural I should say, energy drinks that don't have all the taurine, guarana root and all that stuff. They even have like cases of it at Costco. And it's made with stevia and stuff. Got it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask, stevia and like Truvia and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. And what's the problem? Like if you guys do an artificial sweetener that's not one of those, I always hear it tastes like crap. It's got like an aftertaste. And anybody? Like this is the greatest sweetener I think in the whole world. It's a Fort Worth company called Blvd, and they make stevia. And you can pass that around, check it out. But it actually tastes just like sugar. Literally, it's just a whole lot sweeter, so it doesn't take very much. You can use xylitol, you can use erythritol, although those two kind of have a little bit of laxative effect. So be careful if you're going on a date night. Don't hit that too hard. But here's another one. Myths. You have to eat grains every day. Absolute, complete myth. Absolute untrue. You don't have to have grains every day. In fact, if you never ate grains the rest of your life, you'd be really good, actually. In fact, you'd be really great. As soon as you eat a grain, put it in your mouth, start chewing it up, bread or whatever else, it turns to sugar within about 4 seconds. Why? What's in your saliva? Salivary glands producing amylase. Yes! Biochem. It's really good. So, but again, turns to sugar. What's the one disease that you shouldn't eat a lot of sugar if you've been diagnosed with? Pancreas. It's where the disease is, right? So, but it's diabetes, right? So, but guess who is the biggest promoter of eating grains every day? The American Diabetes Association, right? Which is, what the hell are we doing right now? I don't know, like this ridiculous. In fact, the second largest one for eating grains every day is the American Heart Disease Association. What's the number one cause of heart disease? Not cholesterol, but inflammation. And the number one cause of inflammation right now is what? Sugar, right? Exactly. So don't eat grains. Why? Because what you should be eating is grains that are a whole lot more protein. And nowadays, all the grains are mostly just carbohydrates. And it's a negative food. Everything's robbed. It's processed. There's nothing in it. So, got it? You don't have to eat grains. Everybody with me? Easy, easy stuff. Another myth. Fat makes you fat. Fat's got a bad rap. It doesn't make you fat. Bad fat makes you fat. Bad fat is toxic. It's a dead food. It's like motor oil in my diesel truck. Like it's not supposed to be in you, so your body has to do something with it. So your fat cells become toxic sludge dumps where you start storing a lot of poisonous bad fats, okay? And again, the truth is too many carbs and inability to burn it. That's what makes people heavy. But let me hit this, and this I want to really, someone goes, man, you're really passionate about that. And hell yes, I'm passionate about this. Heart disease is not caused by cholesterol. Does everybody get that? And we were taught in school a long time ago that it does. In fact, statistically right now, half of your parents are on a statin drug. In fact, guess what I want you to do today? I want you to call them and tell them what I tell you. And if they want the stats, please call me. And if their cardiologist wants to talk to me, you can have my cell number and I will talk to their cardiologist personally about it, okay? But here's the thing. Your total cholesterol had to be over 300, otherwise we wouldn't even blink at it. And then they dropped it down to 240, and then they dropped it down to 200. And now, if your cholesterol is over 200, they're going to convince you that you're going to die of a heart attack or a stroke any given second because the ooey gooey cholesterol is going to kill you, okay? But guess what we find? Now listen, I'm not against drugs as a whole. If taking drugs is going to help you, I'm going to put it down your throat for you. However, they did not have the data to support what we talked about with cholesterol. But now I'm all about the data. I'm all about stats, right? I love studies, right? I love to read those things. Guess what we found out? If your cholesterol is below 240, your total cholesterol, you are more likely to have a heart attack and die of it, or have a stroke, or have cancer. In fact, the first thing I'm going to do, if you're a new patient walking in my office and you have your test results and your cholesterol is below 240, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do what? Get it up. We're going to get your cholesterol higher. What? This guy's crazy. Yes, maybe a little bit compared to everybody else, right? But watch this. Here's the other thing. If you actually take a statin drug, every point, this is what I want you to tell your parents, every point that your cholesterol goes down on a statin drug increases your likelihood of having a cardiovascular event by 3%. So if you decrease your cholesterol 10 points, you've just increased your likelihood of a cardiovascular event by 30%. Everybody with me? Do you think you might want to tell your parents that? Yeah, or you. Some of you guys will be on statin drugs as it is. All right, so how do we get out of that? Not hard. You got to get some good fats, okay? We want to increase good fats, get rid of bad fats. Here's the bad fats. What are we looking for? Anything that says hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated. Got it? Some things, I even to this day still have people that say, no, I thought corn oil was good. I thought vegetable oil was good. I thought canola oil was good. Absolutely not. In fact, as soon as you want to do some canola oil or corn oil or vegetable oil, just get some oil out of your car because it's about the same, does the same thing internally if you swallow it. It just coats everything. It's terrible. But these are the good fats, okay? They're live fats, okay? Everybody got that? Okay, I have some people like usually flashing with a camera. Give it to me.
The synthetic butter or the artificial butters?
Perfect. They're bad fats. In fact, I'll show you this. This is, I'm glad you mentioned it. Watch this. This is a synthetic butter right here, and this is margarine, okay? And this is real butter, and those are ants. In fact, the only ones that are in the other died trying to get down to here. Right, so like ants, no, in fact, you guys came in, please look at this when you go out. I bought a Happy Meal in 2007. Good fats or bad fats in those? Bad, and bad fats are already dead, so it's a preservative. If you want to make a food last a long time on a shelf, put some bad fats in it, it'll last forever. So it was dead when I bought it. I didn't spray it with anything, I didn't refrigerate it, and it looks exactly the same as the day I bought it in 2007. And listen to me, if I go to your car right now and you have a car longer than about a year, there's probably a French fry in between the seats, and guess what it looks like? Exactly the same. And so the reason for that is because it's bad fats. If we go on a road trip, we want to eat healthy, so we're not going to stop by and get McDonald's or something, and we go to a gas station and we try to get the healthiest that we can, and we get like a trail mix or something, it's the best we can do, right? The last ingredient on that trail mix is probably going to be peanut oil or some kind of hydrogenated oil or something. That trail mix will last in that gas station for the next 50 years. Why? It's because it's coated with bad fats, and it's not good. Make sense? Got us? We got to get away from that. How do we do that? Well, again, learning is the key. This is another myth. Red meat is bad, causes disease. And all my Texans love this. Everybody thinks that being a vegan is the end-all be-all gold standard of how we get healthy. It's not. In fact, veganism is you can be healthy if you can do it right. It's hard, but I think you can be healthier eating meat. You just have to do it in smaller quantities. In Texas, we have a 72-ounce steak as like the state bird or something. It's we don't do that. But red meat's not bad for your health. It's just eating red meat that's conventionally raised, right? Again, what do we say? They eat grass or grains. They should eat what? Grass. We don't, and it changes the fat. That's what I'm talking about. It changes the fat in meat, which becomes a bad fat, okay? And again, two big problems, the fat ratio and then bioaccumulation. Everybody say bioaccumulation. So one of the mindsets we had to break through with diet was it's too expensive to eat healthy, right? If you have a limited budget and you really got to figure out what you're going to do, if I put a whole basket full of organic fruits and vegetables here, and then I put, the same amount of money into like red organic meat, okay? Which do most people usually pick? Fruits and veggies, yes? But if you look at how much toxic exposure to a lot of bad things that'll rob you of your health, guess where you actually should put your money? The meat. And the reason for that is because of that word right here, bioaccumulation. In fact, remember this, it takes 18 pounds of chemically sprayed grain to equal 1 pound of beef. That's what it takes to make it. So you're eating that much toxic sprayed stuff, glyphosates, all the rest, to get it. That's why, now, first of all, let me ask you, do I eat conventionally raised red meat occasionally? Yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to say I do everything perfect. Like I was on vacation in Cabo this last weekend. I was eating red meat and lobster and all kind of stuff I probably shouldn't have. The point is, the best that we can as far as a routine and a habit, we try to get the good stuff. Got it? It's the same thing. Everybody with me? You learned something yet? Yes. You guys are like, what? What's going on? Next, great myth. FDA and USDA protect us. Is that true or false? So they took 1,000 drugs off the market in the last 2 years. The same people that took it off the market was the same people that did what? Put it on the market, right? And so when I have people bring nutritional information to me like, oh, hey, the FDA approved this, I'm like, who cares? Like, what do they know? Toxic foods. Again, there's 1,600 food additives on the market right now that are in most of the things you guys get at the grocery store that have never even been tested on humans ever, which is a pretty scary thing to think about. And if you're starting to look at toxic tissue samples now, you're actually finding those things in skin, liver, hair, eyes, cardiac tissue, all the rest. And so what does that mean, toxic foods? How do we get away from those? What's the decision? Go to the food labels that are the simplest. What's the most simple food label you'll get? It's the one that's only got one ingredient. Lettuce. Water is good too. Water, right? Banana, right? Or whatever, right? So again, we want to go to more simple. And this is the book that I'm going to give you guys at the end here. I love this. Here's the 4, okay? Clean up your carbs. What's that talking about? Get rid of what? Starts with S. Sugar as much as you can, and if you're going to do an artificial sweetener, do what? Stevia, xylitol, or erythritol. Fix your fats. It means what? Increase a lot of good fats. As soon as we're trying to get somebody over cancer, or even just lose weight here, guess what we do? Increase the good fats. What is a bad fat? Name some. Come on. Canola oil, vegetable oil, coconut, or coconut's good. Watch this. What should you cook with? I'll help you with this a little bit. Okay, so actually about 90% of every room I go to says extra virgin olive oil. I would rather you never cook with olive oil the rest of your whole life. And the reason I say that is because it's a very fragile oil. If you know anything about chemistry and you know about flashpoints, olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, is very fragile. It takes very little heat and it gets rid of all the health benefits. It doesn't have a very high flash point. Coconut oil, which is what he mentioned, avocado oil, both have higher flash points, which means that you can cook with it 1,000 points. I don't know what the points are for, but you got both.
Like 450, 500 degrees.
I don't remember what the number is, just off the top of my head, but it's something close to that. Yeah, it's high, okay? So,
I was using canola, my roommate's like, dude.
don't do that, yeah.
Like, yelled at me over there.
Sesame oil, it's actually fragile too, but it's hard. Like, it almost oxidizes right after you break the sesame seed. So you could actually get like a really dark bottle that's cold pressed, good sesame seed oil, but it's very rare. It's very rare. You can make it yourself probably even better. Perfect your proteins, what are we talking about with that? Grass-fed organic, boom, right there, awesome. Trash your toxins, what are we talking about there? Get rid of complicated food labels with 27-letter names. Got it? The one like water, got it, lettuce, got it, perfect, okay? Here's some examples. If you guys like tortillas, I love tortillas, but I don't like grains. I like my joints to feel great. I do CrossFit every single day of the week except for Sundays, and I like being the guy that's in his mid-40s killing it. And very few people can do that because your joints break down because you're eating a lot of grains. This is made with, there's a bunch of different ones. I like this because it's almond flour, but look at the ingredients. Complicated or not complicated? Pretty simple stuff. And they have this almost everywhere. One of my favorite grocery stores right now is Natural Grocers. If you haven't been there, check it out. If you're a foodie, it's like Disney World. You'll love it. It's right down the street, it's right here. But let's look at the traditional. This is what most people are getting, right? Does this look complicated to you? Yeah, that looks like cancer to me, okay? Here's peanut butter, one ingredient, and that's it. What has it got? Just peanuts, right? How about this one? Okay, nobody has this at home, right? Jiffy. So what's the first ingredient? Peanuts. Second ingredient? Good or bad? Okay, third ingredient? Maltodextrin. Now what's maltodextrin? It's sugar. What's the fourth ingredient? Icing sugar? Like what is this, a cake? Like icing sugar? And then what? Say it. Aha, looking for that word. And then last but not least, maybe salt is good, I guess. And that's good. And you're right, it is. But can you see this is bad? This is why if you're in college and you went on Christmas break and you actually left the top off and you came back and you're like, oh, that's good. Right? Because it was never bad. You can't make it go bad. Got it? It's good stuff, okay? In fact, actually, why do they put hydrogenated, other than preservative, why do they put all the bad oils in bad peanut butter? What's the one thing everybody hates about organic peanut butter? Not taste. You gotta stir that crap up every single time, right? Right, so what's the real question? Let me just end with this. The real question is this. Okay, so great, but everybody have that uncle that smoked, drank, never exercised, and he's still alive playing golf in his 90s? So you're like, oh, so listen, so it doesn't really matter what you eat anyway. I'll just go do my Whataburger. It's not true, right? And so a lot of people go, well, what about to go the other way? I had a friend of mine who did everything right. He ate perfectly, he exercised, he looked great, and then he died of cancer. So then it's such a crapshoot. Then you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do because it doesn't really matter what you do anyway. And then that's not true. It's not true. Every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. But this is the big question I want you guys to ask is, why do some people get sick and others don't? I'm going to show you kind of a gross picture here. But this is the Russian twins, Masha and Dasha. They're conjoined. From the belly button down, they're one person. From up, belly button up, they're two people. They split, okay? Everything in their entire life is the exact same. They breathe the same air. They eat the same food. They're around the same people and living in the same environment, same whatever house, same room, same bedding, same people they're around, everything. The only thing different that they have is their nerve supply. We're talking about the chiropractic component, right? It's the only, in fact, they have the same blood, yes or no? It's going through the same person, right? But one of these people were sick all the time. They're that one person, if someone walked into a building that they're in with a cold, they get it, right? And there's usually one of you guys in that room too. But the other one was never sick, never had symptoms of anything. And again, I go back to the only difference they had was this right here. In fact, watch this. The sick one actually had measles and chickenpox, and the other one never got it. And they're connected and have the same blood supply. What do you do with that with a vaccine theory, right? But I go back to this again, it's very simple why this is the case, okay? And it's basically this. Now, some of you guys, raise your hand if you've had your spine and nervous system checked. Again, I'm going into the chiropractic portion of this, and if you don't get this, I did you wrong, okay? So you guys have had, so no, just, I got an x-ray, had an x-ray before. So if you had x-rays of your spine, good. Now, the problem with it is most people's x-rays are to see if there was a fracture or not. I was in an auto accident, something happened, that kind of deal, right? This is a girl that came to the office. She's 32. She's got endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's everything female for her is not good. And the one thing she's wanted in her whole life is what? Kids. And they're actually talking about a full hysterectomy. So she comes in, she does not have any back pain, no decreased range of motion. So 9 out of 10 chiropractors aren't even going to see her because there's nothing to bill, there's no insurance, there's nothing they can do for you. Why would you go to a chiropractor if your back didn't hurt, no decreased range of motion, and no symptoms whatsoever? She's coming in because she's got an organ issue. But she comes in, we check her spine, what's wrong with it? It's crooked. What's her doctor say about that? It's fine, it's not huge, it's not a big scoliosis or anything. Let me ask you a question. If I change your spine a little bit, does it change your nerve supply? And where does that go? Follow the nerves out, right there, okay? She comes in, she gets adjusted. That's the first one, that's the second one. What do you see? Is it better? Yeah. It's corrected. That's the difference, okay? And it's because it's all connected by the nerve supply, okay? And you can see stuff like this. This is the symptoms you guys wrote, and again, I'm gonna use yours. Like if you circled anything on here, the reason I have you guys fill this out is because by the time that you have any of the symptoms on that sheet, that you have to lose 40% function in a tissue, cell, or organ before you even have the symptom, which means you're halfway to dead with an organ before you have a symptom. And 9 out of 10 of us go see our trusted medical doctor and get what usually? A medication or something. And again, we don't want that to happen, okay? But again, it's just about correction. Do you guys see that neck? Side view of a neck? Pretty good? Yeah? So again, not just popping or cracking. See that crooked neck? Is it getting straighter? Yeah, was going blind and also on blood pressure meds off. Again, never see kids with asthma. Again, straighten up a scoliosis. Most of you guys don't think you can straighten a scoliosis. You can, but this is not traditional chiropractic. What happens in those rooms behind you over there is literally, we spend $250,000 every 6 months on research so that you get absolute detailed care. And nobody here has the same spine, so you need something tailor-made for you. This one, look kind of skinny. This is that girl I told you about that was down to 82 pounds with ulcerative colitis. And then this is her about, I think this is 2 months later. This is the first time that she stood up in a month. There she is. Look a little different? Got her whole life back. And actually, guess what they're trying to do right now? They're trying to have a baby for the first time, which is pretty cool. Actually, what's crazy is I'm now the guy you come see if you're infertile or having fertility issues. And I'm not a fertility specialist, by the way. But you get so many girls that come in who get pregnant, the word gets out. Like it was a while back, I had one come in, went to the adjustment room, got adjusted. She's been so excited to tell me, and she tells me that she's pregnant, and she runs out. We have 30, 40, 50 people waiting to get adjusted. She runs out, she goes, "Dr. David got me pregnant." I was like, no, I didn't get anybody pregnant. But listen, guys, so my thing today is I want everybody here to, number one, get something good you can take away from this and do something different with nutrition. Did you get that? Right? So those 4 things, take that sheet with you, run with that thing. The biggest problem that I have when I sit down, and I love results, and I love seeing people get miracles, is the fact that they needed a miracle to begin with. Got it? So make some changes. Can you do that? Everybody good? Was this worth a little bit of time? Awesome. Now listen, again, there's no pressure for anybody to schedule an appointment, but if some of you guys have any of those symptoms that are circled right there, guess what I think you absolutely need to do? Get checked. Get your nerve system checked first. Got it? If you don't, I'd still be able to bless you. Now, what's the question everybody has about getting checked? If I'm going to see a new doctor, what's the first thing you're going to ask me? How much is it going to cost first, okay? It's usually $230 for an exam and x-rays. It's $50 because you're coming in from a lunch and learn corporate thing that we're doing. Got it? So it's $50 exam. When's the last time you had an exam and x-rays full spine, which are like 9 views for $50? It probably hasn't happened in your lifetime. Got it? And so take advantage of it. The only thing I ask is, I can't, because we see 200 people a day, I can't just hold new patient appointments open like this forever. So the only way I can do that is if you schedule today. Got it? Again, I don't want to pressure anybody. You don't have to do that, okay? What's the next question everybody asks me before you even schedule an appointment? It's, do you take my what? Insurance. Again, we do take insurance. Oftentimes we're not in network. Don't let it scare you off because we have care plans for everybody. But we do stuff like hyperbaric oxygen, which you guys pass by, infrared sauna, thermography, stuff like this that insurance companies don't even know how to spell yet. Got it? So how long does a visit take? about 30 minutes to an hour to come in and get exam and x-rays. I'll go through that. Will you see me? Yes, if it's this clinic, you will see me. I'm here. I'm still a control freak, but I got a lot of great people that help me go through and help a lot of people. Okay? We have this clinic also. Some of you guys might be closer to our Southlake clinic. We're right on Southlake Boulevard across from Home Depot. And so you can make an appointment here for that clinic as well. I got it. And you will get me over there. Occasionally my wife, she's smarter and better looking than I am anyway. She's the doctor over there most of the time. Okay, other questions for me? Yes?
How much taller can you make me?
Depends if you have scoliosis. I actually had an Asian guy come in who grew 3.5 inches. And so,
I got aspirations to go to the leagues.
so listen, if you have a scoliosis, I will, watch this, I'll guarantee I'll make you taller, or I'll give you every penny you ever spent back.
If I have scoliosis?
If you have scoliosis. If you have some form of it. Got
I
it?
get scoliosis first.
Yeah, don't get scoliosis first. Don't do that. That's awesome. You're good. Other questions, guys? Any other questions? Okay, so Paulina, listen, again, Paulina will see you guys if you guys want to schedule an appointment. And the other horrible thing about going to see a new doctor is filling out all that paperwork. And so if you want to schedule an appointment, she'll actually make that happen. She'll give you that packet, which includes new patient paperwork. Just take it with you and fill it out on your own time. And you bring it back and then just start.
By the way, I grow an inch.
She did grow an inch. Yeah, she did. So it's good stuff. Listen, where did we left health and we went into like to height. So it's good. Guys, I just want to thank you guys for being here. I know it's free lunch. So it's like, hey, let's go get a free lunch together. Listen to some good dude. But I really, this gives me the opportunity to really make the world a different place. And I hope you guys really take that and run with it. Again, I want to encourage you guys, if you circled any of those things, please take the time for yourself. This is a group that, man, it's never going to be me, and sometimes it just catches people out of the blue. Please take some time for yourself early on, okay? Got it? You guys are awesome. Thanks for taking the time today. You bet. Awesome.